do, and I know about Jimi Hendrix. All you savages that don't understand what would happen if 6 was 9.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
I don't mind.
I didn't know that song either.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that song.
Know that.
Joe Rogan, do you even know about freedom?
I do, and I know about Jimi Hendrix. All you savages that don't understand what would happen if 6 was 9.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
I don't mind.
I didn't know that song either.
Oh, yeah, I don't know that song.
Know that. Jesus, people, come on. Good morning, New York and the world.
Good morning.
The renegade Jew, Ari Shafir.
Shafir?
Are here.
Oh.
Ari Shafir.
Trying to do an accent. How hilarious those Tony Hernandez jurors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Aaron Hernandez.
Aaron Hernandez,
the dude
yeah.
who got sentenced, yeah. They fucking pack you. Just gives me those memories.
It's a man's life, all right? It's hard.
It's hard to decide what was unreasonable that he did there. Ugh. Barf.
He got put up for one murder, but he's done like a bunch more, huh?
What a crazy dude. Imagine a guy in the NFL. You think, well, he's got opportunity now. He's going to change his gangster ways.
You're out.
Imagine finding out that you have to go to jail forever, and then you're like, but I do get out of jail for a little bit to go on trial for that other murder.
Oh, yeah.
You get to sit in the court and wonder if you're going to go to jail for another lifetime.
Yeah, forever again.
The thing is, he's not even like, he wasn't even raised gangster. He was just like, he's that white privilege gangster.
Really?
Yeah, where it's like later I have money and no one will tell him what to do.
You
like,
can't call him white. He's Hernandez.
Same with the Menendez. I'm calling it white.
Wow.
You live in white, you're white now.
Well, you know, that whole term Latino deals with Latin languages, but Latin languages, it doesn't include Italian, which was like the original Latin language. Like
really?
Latinos, yeah. Italians aren't considered Latinos. But Latino that means derived from Latin, right? I mean,
Spanish? Any Spanish?
Well, I don't think it's just Spanish. It's languages that came from Latin.
But do you think that's the Italians saying we don't want to be associated with that? We want our own thing.
I think it's racism in America.
That's right.
Yeah. I think they've decided that Italians are in and we can keep the Puerto Ricans out.
Like, we're not Mexicans. We're Italians. There's got to be a separate classification.
Cubans are gentlemen. They're Latino as well.
Oh, really?
Remember Ricky Ricardo? He was a gentleman.
Ricky Ricardo.
He was banging Lucy.
Yeah, he was.
Lucy was America's sweetheart.
He was a completely different kind of Cuban than Scarface.
Well, that was back when being a Cuban was totally legit. It was like she was married to a Canadian.
Right. Yeah. Because we had stuff there, right? We had hotels there and stuff.
We still have fucking Guantanamo Bay.
It's not a hotel.
That's not a hotel.
No.
It's not?
No, I don't think so.
You can't go to the bay.
Hey, just stay for a while.
But I mean, we still have a base
fishing in the bay, right?
We have a major base there. It's kind of crazy that's like that's our ally. You know, but we have a fucking
Cuba.
I mean, not our ally, our enemy.
We hate them. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a fucking prison there.
How do we have a base there? How are they going to say it's going to shut down?
We have a prison there.
So we took over Cuba?
We put on Cuba the most extreme human beings that we capture, allegedly. Extreme human beings.
Because they're not good enough for American soil.
That was like one of the big things Obama said he was going to do when he got in office.
Shut down
Guantanamo Bay. He didn't shut down shit. They're like, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, buddy.
Let's show you the inside the world of madness.
Yeah.
So here's people that have been zip tied for the past 3 years.
Let them out.
Bobbing in the corner.
Let them out in Kansas City.
Get back at the world. Yeah, you can't. What the fuck do you do when you if a lot of those people they think aren't even there for a good reason?
Yeah, they just took them.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, now they become militarized. It's like, well, that's our fault. You can't just keep keeping them there.
We drove them insane, and now they're insane people. We can't just let them out.
That's like girlfriends like killing their ex-boyfriends because like, well, they might turn violent.
That is a possibility.
That doesn't mean what?
Yeah, but it's worse because like these guys have been kidnapped and forced into jail. And some of them were just students that attended like rallies or students that attended, they wanted to see what Al Qaeda was all about. They went for a meeting. It doesn't mean they joined.
If 12 years a slave was the American government, at the end we'd be like, we gotta put him back into slavery. We can't trust him around white people. He's gonna be too angry at us now.
It's true.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the same reason.
Forced into jail. And some of them were just students that attended like rallies or students that attended, they wanted to see what Al Qaeda was all about. They went for a meeting. It doesn't mean they joined.
If 12 years a slave was the American government, at the end we'd be like, we gotta put him back into slavery. We can't trust him around white people. He's gonna be too angry at us now.
It's true.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the same reason.
That's right.
We can't. I mean, guys, he's gonna kill us. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, we fucked up, but we can't fuck up again. We just have to live in the first fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've let some of those guys go, and they've done interviews that were in Guantanamo, and they're like, you know, they explained how they got captured and what the connection was.
My name is the Arab version of Williams. So that's an issue, I guess.
Well, that is a thing, right? Like, to put people on the list, like, if you're going to put people on some sort of a terrorist list, and be sure that this is the that you, whatever the fuck his name is.
Let's get his date of birth.
How do you know that that's that?
Insurance does.
You would have to, like, be deep in that world and understand, like, who that guy is and what his association is. And I think a lot of them, like, I don't trust him. Fucking bring him in. Bring that guy. Grab that guy.
There's no limit on the list.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we can only take 5. Just add them to the list, just in case.
Oh, yeah. Better to be safe than sorry.
Right. Yeah, just keep adding more. No,
this is not safe.
Name kind of sounds familiar.
Well, there was a bunch of people when they passed the Patriot Act.
Familiar.
Well, there was a bunch of people when they passed the Patriot Act, and people were protesting against the Patriot Act. And remember, that's when they started sending those anthrax letters. The anthrax letters went to people that were against the Patriot Act, and then they were putting people.
They were against the Patriot Act.
Yeah,
but the Patriot Act takes away our rights.
Exactly. But they, you know, like, well, yeah, you're not really. You know, you don't have to worry about your rights in America. What it's about is about protecting freedom. And if you want to, stop, give the government power. The government needs power to investigate.
You don't have to worry about your rights.
Shut our borders down from the evil doers. So they, whoever, you know.
They sent anthrax to the people that were against. I thought it was like weird, like, you know, the hill people who were like Freedom Hill people, you know. They were like, I'm going to get a cabin and a gun and I'm good.
Well, you know, Abby Martin was on my podcast day before yesterday, and she enlightened me on this whole situation. She said that the strain of anthrax that they sent through the mail had come from one of those U.S. Army weapons labs. Like, it was really? Weaponized anthrax. So somebody had to get it from a U.S. lab. And the people that they accused of having it, one guy sued and won $6 million, I guess, because they were blaming him for the entire scenario. No, and then another guy wound up dying. They blamed it on him, and he died from Tylenol poisoning or something like that, which is weird for a fucking toxicology expert. It's all some freaking twisted shit.
I guess that's why it just kind of went away. Like, I'm so stupid. I've just assumed. Well, yeah, I guess the terrorists were sending out anthrax for a while.
No,
like there was never any real coverage as to. They never tied that bow up at the end of it. Like, oh, here's who was doing it the whole time.
It could have been what you would call an extreme patriot. You know, a guy who looked at these people that were opposing what he felt was a very valid act.
It was a time in this country where it was like you're with us or against it, and everyone got caught up in that emotion.
Yeah,
fuck yeah.
People would have the American flags on their cars.
Do you remember that? The days after 9/11, being in L.A.
Yeah, but it was like, I mean, I'm sure here it was way different. But
yeah, I mean, you could not drive around if you didn't have a flag on your car.
L.A. Really? Yeah.
In New York, yeah. I had a flag on everybody had a flag on their car. In
the windows, like the ones that wave and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you hear the national anthem at like baseball games when they started, it was like brought you to tears.
Right.
Everybody had to stand up.
And it's like, if you get caught with your hat on, get that fucking hat off your head.
And you're like, guys, I didn't do it.
Anthem.
I didn't bomb the towers.
By wearing that hat, you basically did.
Yeah.
I'm just from Puerto Rico visiting here. I didn't know your customs.
Oh, Puerto Rico, huh? Where's that at?
No.
Near Afghanistan?
No, I'm sorry. Let me just hear.
Is that out in the ocean?
Please have a churro. People are peaceful. We don't have an army.
I remember how nice everybody was after.
Everyone's very nice.
That was what was weird. Look at this Jeb Bush fucker. Look at this guy. Seeks votes in New Hampshire. He's really going to do it.
He kind of looks like the Bushes a little bit.
He's one of them.
Yeah.
He's really going to do it. This guy's really going to run for... We're really going to have a Bush versus a Clinton. This makes me... All those fucking tinfoil hat wearing conspiratards. This makes me go, man, maybe they got a point. Maybe this is the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Maybe I mean, like, if they needed a fucking point, dude, it's a bloodline. You can't get out of this bloodline. Every single president is related to the same royal dignitary.
Same lizards.
Yeah, there's some wacky theories that everyone's related. But meanwhile, everybody's related to Lucy, who's a fucking, you know, like, they go back to, like...
Who's Lucy? Oh, the first woman?
The first woman, yeah. Lucy. I mean, you can go far back enough where everybody's related to somebody. You know, like 1 out of 5 Asians is related to Genghis Khan. Doesn't mean they're in on it.
Really?
You know what I mean? Doesn't mean they get the spoils of his conquest.
It just means you raped your mom.
Right.
Like, you're not special.
Yeah, it's something like 1 out of 500 or 1 out of, some enormous percentage of people have that guy's DNA in it.
And it's not necessarily like a conspiracy. It's just a matter of people are stupid. So they're like, okay, I remember that name. He was a president. So that name can be a president.
It's true.
So I'll vote for another Bush because the Bushes can be presidents.
See, this doesn't happen in sports because, like, if you're the son of somebody, you still have to compete, and if you're not scoring, they'll just bench you.
Right.
Yeah, like if Jordan's kid tried out for the Bulls, they wouldn't just let him be the captain of the Bulls.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, he'd have to really be great.
Yeah, he'd have to be something. But this is like third time around for the Bushes.
Yeah.
Third time.
Yeah. And all three of them sucked.
But the first one didn't do 2 terms, right?
No.
He just did 1 term. And he's like the most respected of them.
Well, yeah, because W was like kind of a fuck up.
Well, but he was kind of a fuck up too. It's just we forget. Remember when he was on the cover of a bit? Bill Hicks had a bit about it, and been on the cover of a magazine where it said "Wimp President."
Oh yeah, wimp, because he wouldn't go serve in the military, right?
Yeah, I did.
Wimp.
No, he was in the military. He was actually shot down in World War II. He parachuted to safety on a hemp parachute.
Really?
Made out of marijuana. That's right, Chris Christie, you fat slob. You marijuana hating fuck. You hear that shit?
No.
Chris Christie said if he was the president, he would shut it down.
Shut it down. What about
Shut down
Colorado and
legal marijuana.
Washington State?
Shut it down. You know what he wouldn't shut down? Twinkies.
Hey, get the clip.
He wouldn't shut down meatball subs.
You can't?
He wouldn't shut down any of the things that are killing people.
Yeah, I forgot. I can be a producer too.
You can be a producer over there?
Yeah.
Wow, look at this.
I love it.
Yeah, we tried to get Anthony Cumia in studio, ladies and gentlemen.
You did.
We actually put him on the list, tried to put him on the list. You can't put him on the list. He's on his way over here.
He is?
Yeah, he's definitely en route. I mean, he was in a car this morning.
What's he going to do?
He's our guest.
What?
He's our guest here. We have a guest. Yeah, I mean, it's the Sam and Ari and Anthony and Joe show today.
But he can't get on the list?
Well, we can't, with the spelling of his current name,
it's
problematic. So we're seeking to see if there are workarounds.
See if he can legally change his name before like 7 or 8.
No, I don't think legally. I'm pretty sure downstairs is not a law office.
I came in here last time and my license was expired. They're like, oh, do you have anything valid? I'm like, it's valid because it has my name on it and it was a government issued ID. I'm like, I'm not driving on it. So what's your problem?
What difference does it make? Yeah.
Just let me in. Sir, it's not valid. But not by your rules.
Yeah. Look at this, Chris Christie. I will crack down while in between bites of food. He's slurping spaghetti.
Here's the clip.
And not permit.
Domestic law. You were a United States prosecutor for a long time.
Yep.
Right now, we've got the states of Colorado and Washington flaunting federal law by allowing people to sell dope legally. If you're the president of the United States...
Hold on, dope. These are such leading fucking questions and words.
That's how those old Republican dudes rock it.
States, you can enforce the federal drug laws in those states.
Absolutely. I will crack down and not permit it.
All right, next.
Marijuana is a gateway drug. We have an enormous addiction problem in this country, and we need to send very clear leadership from the White House on down through federal law enforcement. Marijuana is an illegal drug under federal law, and the states should not be permitted to sell it and profit from it.
It's hilarious.
Oh, wow.
Addiction problems. You know what's addictive, dude? Sugar. You're addicted to sugar. That's why your face is so enormous. I mean, he's obviously doing something unbelievably unhealthy. And he's talking about something that has never killed anybody ever. And he's talking about addiction problems. You guess what? If you're addicted to marijuana, you could be addicted to basically anything.
I don't see how they get the gateway drug thing. Or how is alcohol not a gateway drug? Or cigarettes not a gateway drug?
It's scientifically been disproven. It's been disproven over and over again with study after study. Saying that is incredibly irresponsible. He knows it's not true. If he researched it at all, he would know that that's not a valid thing to say. It's because he's not a guy who thinks. He's a guy who subscribes to an ideology, and he pushes that ideology, and that ideology is drugs are bad, okay. That's exactly what it is.
Somebody was in here saying that the correlation is only that people they can get weed easier. So it's the first drug they get, but it's not actually leading to it. That just happens to be the first one that's easiest to get.
But that's ridiculous. It's more likely to lead you to other mind expanding drugs. It's more likely to lead you to mushrooms, more likely to lead you to other, but as far as like doing illegal drugs, one of the things that marijuana does is it makes you paranoid. And if you're paranoid, you're probably going to think about the repercussions of bad drugs like crack or meth, or it might even be something that would keep you from doing it. It might be like a hesitant instead of like a gateway. It might be something that would make you reconsider.
Right, because you go, holy shit, the other stuff can kill me.
Yeah.
I want to die.
Alcohol is the gateway drug. That's been proven time and time again because alcohol reduces your inhibitions. It does the opposite of what marijuana does. Marijuana makes you paranoid. It makes you think things through. Alcohol makes you go, fuck it.
Right.
Let's do blow.
Right.
Fuck it.
Yes. But you don't get paranoid when you smoke weed.
Yeah, you can get paranoid.
You still do?
Well, what is paranoia? I mean, are you aware of the possibilities? The fact that you're clinging to a ball that's spinning 1,000 miles an hour, hurling through the cosmos. These are all reality.
That's what you're thinking about.
Sometimes. What happened? What are you trying to do, Ari? You just ran out.
Trying to get our buddy in.
How are we doing with that?
I don't know.
Our buddy occupied this very seat, and when he comes here, believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I will be stepping down.
Oh my
Out of
God.
respect, I will push over another chair, and I will get out of this spot because this is his spot. By law. By God's law.
God's law.
Yeah.
And that's the law we all live by, isn't it?
Goddamn Opie and Anthony fan. I don't like them broken up like this. It's gross.
Yeah, me too. O&A fan.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Goddamn bullshit. What was the mood here like when they changed it to Opie Radio and plastered Opie Radio all over the walls? Was there any issues there?
No, not when the mood was one way when it first happened.
Yeah.
But then once everybody kind of realized this is just happening now, we just have to move on. You know what I mean?
Right.
There isn't anything to be done here. We can't just sit here and call it Opie and Anthony and have Anthony not be here every day.
Why not? Be fun.
That would be fun.
Why not?
Anthony would probably eventually take issue with that. He's like, please stop putting my name on something that you're not paying me for and I have nothing to do with.
But he leaves the door open. Leaves the door open for a future comeback.
I think the door is still... there's no way...
Dude, his name you can't even put down on the security list as a guest.
I'm thinking long term. Maybe not today.
They said it's anybody who's been fired.
So where are we at right now?
He's down there. We're going to try to send someone down to get him up.
Oh, my God.
Fascinating. I wonder if that's going to work. Who'd you send down? Okay. One of the people that works here.
Maybe security.
Interesting.
Security person.
Yeah.
Let's see if somebody cockblocks this.
Maybe we can put a straitjacket on him and then bring him upstairs.
Yeah, maybe we're going to tell him. We're here to berate him about everything that's going on today.
Yeah, he's going to learn today. He's getting a tongue lashing for everything.
Black Lives Matter. And
Maybe,
Let you
if
know.
we don't let him tweet, maybe. that
was one of
promise
my-
to put his Twitter away.
favorite of the outrage. Well, the favorite of the outrages was the Ari Lang outrage for the joke that he was doing on stage at the cellar. He said that he was having sex with this black chick. And, this got him thrown off. No, this is a different one that got him thrown off at midnight. He got thrown off at midnight for talking about some reporter.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Saying he wanted her to beat him like a runaway slave and he would jizz all over himself or something. It was really funny. But the other one, he said he was having sex with this black chick and in the middle of it she goes, I can't breathe. He goes, oh, let's not get political.
Yeah.
and some woman, like she wrote about it. She threw her braids to the side, yelled out, that shit ain't funny, and stormed out of there. And then she was, telling everybody.
You almost want to be like, hey, stop. What do you think the joke was? I don't think you get it.
Yeah.
I don't think you get it.
Well, she's saying it's not funny at all. It's impossible to include I Can't Breathe, which is about that guy being choked to death, and then have a joke about it later. That's not true.
Of course it's not true. That's not true about there's no thing that's true about.
What?
It's just you can't ever make any joke about that ever.
Exactly.
In any context, that can't be funny.
You're just like, guys, you're lying. Oh.
You can't joke about that, God damn it. You can't.
So, why?
I had once
is that God's law?
After Newtown, I tried to make a joke and it didn't fly.
That's a tough.
Yeah, and it was like 4 or 5 days later.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of situations where it can be very, very difficult to make a joke about.
But the crowd turned on me in the OR, the comedy store. They turned on me. There's one guy in particular. He's like, "That's just not funny." Some guy from Vegas, and it was like, "It'll never be funny." He goes, "No, it will never be funny." And I'm like, "All right." And I fucking worked 10 minutes to try to get them back on my side. And then I did. I threw some Holocaust joke in there. And everybody laughed. And that guy laughed too. And I was like, wait. You still saying it'll never be funny? And he was like, all right, okay, fair enough.
So you worked 10 minutes knowing that you were getting to that Holocaust thing so you could make your point?
I wish. I just like had gotten them back finally, and then I did it, but then I turned to see him laugh.
Newtown's a tough one because it's dead kids.
Dead kids
just like
There's
Holocaust.
a lot of dead kids in the Holocaust.
You can think of
you don't think of
as being like across the board.
You think of thin adults.
But it's a thing. It happened decades ago in a different continent. Like Newtown was like less than a week ago in some town that anybody could be from.
There's some fucking people that just want to get upset too. There's that. There's some people that just no matter what, they're always looking for the opportunity to be offended.
Do you think people go even to comedy clubs waiting for the comic to say something?
Some people, of course they do. Some people just they're not smart enough or disciplined enough or they don't have enough consideration to a performer to be allowed to go to a comedy club.
They should be allowed.
Yeah, they think that they can just yell out in the middle of the show and disrupt it if something gets tweaked in their mind. Like, if they're going to a movie and in the movie someone gets shot and killed or raped, do they jump up and yell out, "This is bullshit, you can't do this in a film"?
In fairness, though, in a film, they don't think anyone can listen to them.
Sure they do.
They know the screen
guy. The guy running the projector. Stop this film. Stop this film. There's people that have done that. For sure, there's people that have done that in America. Guarantee
there is that dude, that reviewer who reviewed our Clerks 2. And he left, and before he left, he goes,
Joel Siegel.
He goes, "This is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life." And it's like, what, are you trying to ruin this for every other reviewer?
Right. Yes.
Just have your opinion and fucking leave. And just say
although when we went to see Cloverfield, Jeffrey Lyons was in the audience.
Yeah.
And so was Patrice. And as the credits are rolling, Patrice just goes, "Boo!" And Jeffrey Lyons turned around and goes, "Oh, nobody asked you." Oh, wow. It was so funny.
That's a statement, though. It's like almost a political statement. Booing at the end when the credits are rolling.
Yeah.
After it's all over.
The worst one was after I saw A Beautiful Mind. Remember that?
Yeah.
And by the way, that was not the real story. The real story was as soon as he turned the bathtub on and his kid and left it there, the wife was like, "Oh, I'm out." And just left, and that was the end of it. She didn't like see him through it.
What did he do? He almost drowned his kid?
Yeah, he's schizophrenic or something, and he like turned the bathwater on and then left. The kid was in the tub.
No, you don't understand. There's a happy ending to that film. And he gets his brain back and becomes awesome again.
But anyway.
Game Theory? Do you know anything? God.
Game Theory?
They always like to take those. They take fucking real stories and they butcher them for movies.
They just do whatever they want.
So what were you going to say?
Oh. But anyway, but then at the end, they had the music playing, like, "Ah," everyone stands up and claps for him, and I'm crying, but I know it's all a trick. And as soon as the credits come, I take my drink and I just fucking threw it to the floor.
Whoa.
And I went out and played video games. Like, fuck this.
You got angry?
It was just so bad. And I knew how they just manipulated me through song.
You were angry when you cried?
I was angry. I was like, "You guys, this is bullshit." He didn't know we're a comedy thing. He accomplished something when he was in college fucking 40 years ago. That's what he's getting an award for.
Yeah, but what if we were...
So the whole movie was worth nothing.
But he had voices in his head and doesn't have them anymore.
But all right,
but he did what he did before he had the voice in his head.
We're applauding for the character on screen.
To do
the
what?
experience that we've gone through together as an audience.
Nah.
Well, they do that with movies where guys are alive, too, like Foxcatcher.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of shit wrong with Foxcatcher that wasn't factually accurate. A giant chunk of shit, including Mark Schultz's wrestling career, like all the accomplishments that he had. He was one of the best wrestlers on the planet when that happened. Like, they were making it out like he was washed up or it wasn't working out well.
Yeah.
This
like
guy
he had no place else to go.
It was bullshit. Bullshit. That guy was one of the best wrestlers on earth. He was already an Olympic gold medalist.
They're like, the story doesn't seem familiar. It doesn't seem realistic yet, so they got to switch it up.
Yeah, they just added a bunch of shit that's not true, like this weird gay innuendo between him and the Foxcatcher dude. Yeah,
because in the movie, it seemed like when he was going to join Steve Carell's team, it was like, why would this guy be paying him this much money? He's washed up. He's not worth anything.
Oh, really?
It wasn't the case in real life at all. In real life, he was one of the best wrestlers on earth. And on top of that, they fucked with the timeline in ridiculous ways. Like, in Foxcatcher, they had the UFC on television. They were watching it in 1987. Well, the UFC didn't hold an event until 1993.
Right.
That was the premiere. So they predated it by 6 years for no reason. And they watched a guy in the UFC when they were sitting around watching it. Big Daddy Goodrich was the guy who was fighting in the movie. Big Daddy Goodrich was the guy that Mark Schultz fought when he actually fought in the UFC.
Oh, really?
So in the movie, he's not fighting Big Daddy Goodrich, which is a historical fact. In the movie, they make him fight some Russian guy that was non-existent, some artificial, fictional Russian guy. But in real life, he fought the guy he was watching supposedly on TV in 1987, Big Daddy Goodrich.
That ruins all those movies for me. Every time I watch a true story movie, I immediately go to Wikipedia. I immediately read like the true story and the differences.
Yeah.
And it ruins everything I just saw.
Well, especially with this movie, that was totally unnecessary. Like his wrestling accomplishments, there's no need to leave it out. There's no need to change the timeline of the UFC. Like, who the fuck? How arrogant is that to think that you'll change the timeline for an historical event for a sport that millions of people watch all over the world? That's like putting, Babe Ruth 6 years before his time, just because it fits in the movie.
Right, exactly.
I'm not calling Big Daddy Goodrich Babe Ruth, but you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a historical fact.
You may as well use the historical facts and then change what they said later in their hotel rooms.
It's a real life story. It's supposed to be about a real life series of events, and they just decided for whatever arbitrary reason, whatever producer decided this, to fuck with the timeline.
Yeah, because the producer was like, the audience will find him to be more of a hero if he's fighting a Russian guy at the end of this.
Yeah.
Maybe. What does that have to do with anything?
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
what?
This isn't wrestling. It's just a movie about a thing.
Not only that, it wasn't even the UFC at the end.
Man.
It seemed like some rinky-dink organization. Thanks, brother.
They probably didn't want to pay UFC.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. They had the UFC in it, though. I mean, if they didn't want to pay the UFC, why they had the UFC in it at a wrong timeline? Thank you. They had his wrestling credentials were all botched. Like they took out.
Did he fight in the UFC, that guy?
Yeah, he fought one time.
And how did he do?
Crushed Big Daddy Goodrich. He just took him down and pounded on him whatever he wanted. Did whatever he wanted to. A wrestler of that caliber, like that was. I mean, he was this was also a guy like who was the elite of the elite. He was still in his prime, like as far as youth. But he wasn't even competing at a really high level at the time when he fought in the UFC.
And then what did they do? They killed him?
No. He was a wrestler, a coach rather for I think Brigham Young University, and they didn't want him fighting in MMA, so they told him, look, if you want to keep this job as a coach, or fight in these cage fighting organizations that are in the middle of nowhere.
And cage fighting paid a lot less then.
There was nothing in it. There was no future. It wasn't like today where you could be UFC heavyweight champion and make a shit ton of money.
They used to have a storyline on Friends of the dude from Swingers being a fighter.
Oh, Jon Favreau?
Jon Favreau.
Yeah, didn't he fight Tank Abbott on the UFC?
Really? In the show?
An episode of Friends?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's where he fought, but it's... What?
Tony Hinchcliffe just texted me.
He just woke up.
Phone was completely mute for some reason.
We were talking about why someone can't get up.
Lazy bitch.
It's like you have to make excuses. You ever sleep in here, Sam? You ever feel like, I just can't do it today? And just commit yourself, like, I'm not going to go? No.
I mean, every single morning I wake up going, like, trying to figure out if there's any way to get out of it. Like, okay, is there something I could say? Is there something I could do? But I've never
think of something.
No, I've never gotten to that place.
Every single morning when you get up here, you
every morning.
Really?
It's 4
like
o'clock
my grandmother died Friday afternoon. Maybe they don't know. I can just say.
Why do you have to get up at 4?
Because I have to get on the train at 4:59.
Oh God!
Get here by whatever 5:30ish. Get on the air at 6:30.
Where do you live? That you have to take the train?
Westchester.
Oh damn, dude! What a drag.
Westchester.
Yeah.
Barf.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Bobby Kelly lives, right?
That's right.
All those people,
Nick
all
DiPaolo
of them go.
too,
It's
right?
it's 45 minutes to the city. I'm like, yeah, it's 45 minutes to Harlem. It's not 45 minutes to where you're going in the city.
I live in southern Westchester, though, so it's as close to
Southwestchester
to the city as you. Yeah.
I used to live in New Rochelle.
That's where I was born.
That's where my sister got married.
Crazy.
I went to high school there and middle school and elementary school.
In New
I lived
Rochelle.
there because I couldn't afford to live in the city. And,
So you lived in New Rochelle?
Yeah, I was doing road gigs. I needed a place to park my car.
How far away is New Rochelle?
I don't know.
I mean, it's 35 minutes. There's a song called 35 Minutes to Broadway, and it's about New Rochelle.
By train?
I mean, look, don't start me on New Rochelle
This
trivia.
thing's at
It
no
was
time.
only 20 minutes to White Plains Billiards.
That's what
I
needed.
knew. I needed to be close to the pool hall. I needed a base stop.
Where'd you live in New Rochelle?
I don't remember. some little studio apartment that I rented. I guess it was a 1-bedroom that I rented. It was below like one of those. They converted their downstairs to an apartment, some shitty little place. But we got a parking spot. When I was doing road gigs, I needed a parking spot. Like if you park in the city, what's going on with our friend?
I don't know. He's still down there.
You're running around.
Yeah.
Are you going to try to
I'm going to try to do
throw
something.
a smoke bomb or something?
Maybe I'll smoke some marijuana down there, and everyone come running for me, and then like go.
So what are they saying to him? He can't come up.
Nobody's coming down for him. No, it's blocked by name, and no one's coming down.
No one's coming down for him. Why don't we send someone down to go get him?
Try.
Don't we have like someone who just can say, "Oh, this guy's on. He can come with us."
It has to be a security person.
Don't we have a down-ass security dude up here?
Club Soda Kenny's not here.
Where? Oh, fuck.
He's a security guy.
Is he with Norton?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yep. He's in California, I guess.
You think he could have got him in?
He's a security guy.
Theoretically, maybe.
Why don't you act like a security guy?
Do I come across that way?
Well, you act like a guy who works here.
Yeah.
You know things, you know?
Yeah.
You're respected as a man who wakes up at 4 a.m. every day.
That's right. I'm the security guard who wears a Robert Kelly T-shirt to his security job.
It's okay. You gotta
That's
be
from a special.
down with the people.
I'm gonna look real quick.
Ari Shafir is gonna try to.
Ari's
see
tall.
this
Ari can be a
happen.
security guard.
Yeah.
I used to be
Looks
a
like
bouncer
it.
at the Comedy Store.
See?
I have experience.
know.
I can handle it. If you don't have a security guard on duty, I can handle it because I have experience.
Do that stare.
Maybe I'll tell them.
Just stare through people.
So what can be done, Ari? Well, you go try. Give it a shot. The kid, Ari Shafir, the renegade Jew, is on his way to try to get the racist into the building. The alleged racist.
That's right.
I don't feel he's actually racist.
No.
I feel it's a character that he plays in real life and in the air.
He's method, that's all.
Yeah. It's a side effect of being around all those bullets.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah,
it's in the bullets. It's in the lead.
Something about the lead.
Did you know when Joe DeRosa went on your show? Did you know that shit was going to blow up for DeRosa?
No, he's an interesting guy, Joe DeRosa.
Yeah,
you know, because he like beats things into the ground. Like
he's such a feeling guy.
He keeps going over his feelings and how he felt about it. It was an interesting conversation because he kind of like, without talking to Anthony, went bad on him without talking to him.
Right.
You know, and just had a lot of. I don't know, man. The whole thing was weird. The whole thing is very weird.
You didn't see it coming, obviously.
No, I had no idea. I didn't know that they had issues before. I had no idea there was any sort of static between them. And then they started going back and forth on Twitter. And then people just started attacking DeRosa.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, they went after him hard.
Yeah.
Poor fella.
Yeah, it hasn't been good for him. It hasn't turned out right for him.
Yeah, those pests.
They're still there.
They're quite
still
rabid.
active. Yeah.
All they need is a call. Someone needs to get on top of the hill with a conch shell.
Right. They need us.
Fuck you, Joe DeRosa. Just kilts, fucking scabbed knees running over the top of the hill.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. The whole thing was weird. It's always weird when a friend talks shit about the other friend, like in a public forum like that.
Especially when it's your public forum.
Yeah.
Let's talk. It's not even a public forum. It's my public forum.
Yeah. I don't know. What was his gripe? DeRosa was saying that Anthony had said some racist shit. Is that what it was?
Yeah, and he said, I think his quote that everybody pulled out was, how am I supposed to tell my black friends about it, or something like that.
Oh, no.
They said it was your show.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. How am I supposed to tell my black friends about it? Ari Shafir has returned with news.
They're looking for a security guard to let him up.
So you think it's possible?
It's possible. And it's also possible they'll get six security guys
to let him up. Who is they looking for it? Do we have someone we trust on this project?
Yeah, we got someone we trust on it. Who's looking for the head security guy now.
This better work. We've already built this, hyped this up. If this doesn't work, it'll be a huge...
God, he's downstairs.
He's downstairs.
He's fucking down. He's here.
Well, you need to go with a flaming bag of dog shit and just throw that flaming bag down the hallway and have them all respond to it. And grab them.
Just create a diversion.
Fuck. You need more security here. This is serious.
Yeah.
Serious satellite radio.
Nothing happened. Who's looking to do anything to anybody here? You need one guy at the elevator.
You never know.
You don't know. People say such controversial, outlandish things on the air.
Well, ever since Jimmy Norton got in that row with Jesse Ventura,
Yeah, we needed security that day.
What do you mean? Why? What happened?
Here.
With Jim Norton and Jesse Ventura almost got into a fist fight.
They almost went to war.
But he was let up. He got through the security system.
Okay, that's a great point.
Well, that's why we need security up here.
That's right.
You can't use an example of having security as an example of why. Yeah, whatever.
But we needed security once we let him up, though.
They didn't have it. So you're saying more security. We need more security in every radio show.
Every radio show.
Yeah, that was an interesting situation, man. Watching Norton get angry at him, watching Norton shut him down.
It was cool. Norton did not back down for a second.
No, well, he gave all the opportunities in the world to have an actual conversation with him.
Yes, he did.
But Jesse Ventura wanted to talk over him.
Yeah, oh, really? That's what it was?
Yeah.
It was frustrating.
Well, he just, he's got some real specific 9/11 conspiracy ideas that he likes to promote. It's very specific.
And like the minute you disagree with him, he start like his whole thing was thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Because he was like, you can't disagree with me because I served. And Jim's like,
oh,
what?
Right.
I can't have an opinion. I can't.
That's a shitty thing.
Use
it's like,
my brain.
You can't. Not if someone served. You can't argue with them in any way.
Right.
Yeah, you can't even have a disagreement with them. You're supposed to back down.
Even if it's like, no, I don't think 9/11 was an inside job. Yeah, well, what branch of the military did you serve? What?
Yeah. What does that have to do with? What is that?
We're even talking about
I
that.
think the greens of the Masters were too fast. Well, that's because you're not a Marine.
Huh?
You haven't served.
You've never served as a groundskeeper, so you can't tell me.
You haven't lived it, man.
Should we take some phone calls?
We could, easily. There's a lot of people that just are always looking to point the finger. They're always looking to get pissed off at somebody else.
At somebody.
Yes.
Fill in the blank, whatever the reason is. There's a lot of fake outrage in this country.
Outrage is so easy. Everybody wants to have an opinion to feel important, and outrage is such an easy one to grab onto. You can just wait and find something that you think other people will be outraged by.
We used to do this thing.
Disagreeing.
Right, and having a conversation.
I was at Yeshiva University, and we would go to these daytime talk shows, Montel and Ricky Lake type things, and we try to get on TV. And we would try to say things that are just the easiest. And one guy abandoned his family, his wife and kid. Ooh. And my friend raised his hand, and Montel's like, yes. He goes, well, I think you should take care of your kids instead of running away. And everyone claps. They were like, oh, really? That was your stance? He's like, I got on, motherfucker. It's like, that's what their outrage is. It's like, oh, what, there's Nazis? Well, I could be against that.
Yeah. Every talk show, when they used to go to the audience, every single show, one person would raise their hand and go, you know what? I just want to say, before you can respect other people, you got to respect yourself.
Yeah.
And then everyone goes, that's right. That's right. Why hasn't anybody said this?
Well, that's exactly what people are doing when they're trolling.
What?
Well, you try and just get a reaction. They're like, yeah, I got on though.
It's trolling.
I think you should take care of your kids. Yeah, nailed it.
This one guy raised his hand, not with us, but somebody else. It was a woman who was smoking during pregnancy. And he was like, why? How about we take you out the back? And she was like 8 months pregnant. He goes, we'll take you out the back, beat the fuck out of you. Maybe that'll teach you a lesson. And then whoever it was, I forgot whose daytime show it was. He goes, well, it's probably going to be worse for the baby than the smoking. And he was like, all right, good point.
My all-time favorite one was, I was watching this. It was an episode of like Jenny Jones or one of those back before Jenny Jones got canceled. And she had this girl on who dresses too seductive. And the audience.
Really?
Yeah, some guy got up in the audience. And he said, it's all about your personality. if you got some pizzazz, you could pull it off. But see, your personality stank. And that make you look nasty.
See, that's a good opinion to bring to the table.
The way he said it, the dude had like a perfect pause. I mean, like no white guy is ever going to pull off ever. He goes, your personality stank. And that make you look nasty. And everybody just like, oh!
The insult.
We'll be right back. Oh! They had to go to break. Got too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that was it.
That's it. Take us out.
Your personality stank, and that make you look nasty.
She do look nasty.
That should be a T-shirt. Your personality stank, and it not even stinks. Stank.
Yeah.
Your personality stank. And that make you look nasty.
Remember that Sergio Love quote shirt I have? Ain't no bitch gonna front me.
You got a shirt that says that?
Ain't no bitch gonna front me, dash Sergio Love. That's my credit for the quote. Ain't no bitch gonna front me. I wear it sometimes at the airport. I see people looking at me. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
people never understand who Sergio Love is, but it seems like a great poet.
Ain't no bitch gonna. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Sergio Love. Oh, is that the Spanish poet?
Yes,
no.
Sergio Love.
No, it's not.
He is right now riding in Costa Rica. He has a bungalow on the beach, and he sits there, he drinks rum, and he writes beautiful verse.
I love Sergio. Oh, I thought you were...
No, you're trying to look up Sergio Love. You don't... there's no Google for Sergio Love.
He didn't have a web presence.
Yeah, he just... I don't know. He never got that far.
His social brand isn't out there.
Yeah.
It's just a comic that we knew from the Comedy Store. What was that in referring to?
It's something he said on stage once, and Tebow was working at a screen printer at the time, so he's like, I'll just make some shirts.
It's just a life philosophy that
he made like 10 of them.
Ain't no bitch gonna front on me.
Ain't no bitch gonna front me. Not front on me.
Front me.
Ain't no bitch gonna
what does
front
that mean exactly?
Well, let's break it down word by word. Ain't no bitch, which
no
means
bitch gonna front me.
A bitch will. It's double negative.
Oh, shit. If you really want to...
Ain't no bitch means many bitches will front me.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
It's tricky. It's in code.
Yeah,
He's letting you know.
Yeah, it sounds like he's saying, a woman will make me appear to be something I'm not.
It's kind of a cry for help. It's a code cry for help. Ain't no bitch gonna front me.
Right.
He's letting him know they're gonna just run over me. That's what he's doing. That's what he's saying. Sad words.
Man, Sergio.
You know, he was like crying out for help. It was hidden in his words. We didn't know.
Hey, what if we just take this down? Just give him one of these.
Yeah, why don't you just go give him one of those?
The intern.
Yeah.
Is there an intern?
Yeah, but...
They go get egg sandwiches. Don't get him arrested.
He's already downstairs, so they've already seen him. So he's like, oh, I forgot.
But the elevator guy hasn't seen him.
The pass that I was looking for, it's right here.
We don't know. They might have those little headsets that go, the racist is here. That motherfucker is here? After all that shit he said?
Did he bring his camera?
He's trying to get in. He's taking pictures. He was up all night. He's up all night boozing, taking pictures.
Sarah Silverman comes clean about lying to highlight gender pay gap. She fucking lied in that thing?
What?
I just thought she was wrong. What does that mean she comes clean about lying about it?
What?
Did you see that thing?
No. What
so
did
they're talking about the gender gap, the pay gap in gender, which, by the way, is based on overall income and not based on women get paid less per job. It's just because there's more female teachers and more male CEOs. But it's not if there's two teachers, they both get paid the same amount. That's not a real thing. The 75 cents on the dollar.
Really?
Yeah, that's overall pay for all jobs.
And that is one of those parroted
social workers
things.
Are predominantly more women than men. Mm-hmm. Nurses are predominantly more women than men.
Are you trying to say there's not a problem with the gender gap disparity of
that
wages?
thing they quote is wrong. I'll tell you that.
Saying? Sarah Silverman lied?
So she went on and said, I did a set once. I wish I could play that. I did a show, and this guy, Al Martin, she named him by name. She goes, Al Martin, me and Todd Barry were both at the same level of fame. You want to play this? We're both at the same level of fame. Yeah, just play it. It just shows a lack of understanding about the New York comedy scene.
The club owner, whoever, the employer that she was talking about, came out and said that's bullshit.
Well, explain what she said.
We're looking for the clip.
She goes, we're both at the same level of fame. I did a spot, then he did a spot. He went on right after me. 15 minutes, 15 minutes. And afterwards, we're out there talking. He goes, oh, yeah, cool. I got my $60. She goes, 60. I got 10. And she goes, it's just ridiculous. And then I went back in to talk to Al Martin, and he goes, well, if you wanted a $60 spot, I would give you one. She goes, it's ridiculous that women won't get paid the same amount of men. I'm like, no. Just club owners they're just cheap. And some spots they pay, and some spots they call guest spots. Some spots they pay headliner status, some spots are openers. MCs make a different amount too. And it's just like, if you got paid 10, that's because you said you were willing to. At LOL, when I have to work out a story, I'm like, I'll take one of your free spots. Otherwise, they won't give me a free spot.
Right.
They'll only give me a $20 spot. Go ahead, play it out loud.
And we were outside talking, and Todd somehow brought up that he, mentioned that he got $60. He just got $60, and I just got $10. We did the exact same time, back to back, on the same show. And so I went back inside, and I asked the owner, Al Martin, and I said, Al, why did you pay me $10 and you gave Todd Barry $60? And he, it's so perfect, because he goes, oh, did you want a $60 spot? It was symbolic. I didn't need $60. I mean, but it's,
What is this fucking music?
Yeah, it's pretty shitty. I think the best person for the job should get jobs.
wonder
So
if
that
she
was
was
her
even.
story.
But now that I see it, I wonder if she was even talking about the gender gap, or she was just talking about have you ever made less money than someone?
And then they just kind of took the
Because they
clip
did
and
cut it right
spun
after that.
Yeah.
And they make it seem like she was talking about that. But she said she was lying about it.
Yeah, but that didn't even seem like she was talking about gender right there. She could have easily not been talking about gender.
Sarah
She
Silverman
didn't even
admitted that a story she told about wage discrimination, in which she went so far as to call it a specific employer by name, was a lie, and then said people who might consider her lie a reason to question the movement she was supporting were maniacs.
What? Wait a minute.
Oh, so she's saying that that's a lie. The story's not true.
She
Yeah.
just made the story up?
That's weird.
The story didn't even happen?
What?
See, I just thought it was like, oh, you just don't know. I've only been here for 2 years, but I know that comedy club owners are trying to get out of paying their comics. It's nothing to do with
But
men and women.
That's
Right.
bizarre.
But
That
the
is
whole
a
thing was a
bizarre-
lie.
That's a bizarre lie.
Because why would you bring up two guys' names that people know in comedy, and then just make a story up like
we can
these-
talk to Todd Barry and see if that's true. And
Right.
Al Martin's still booking Broadway Comedy Club.
Is it possible that there's a medication that people get on that just makes them ramble and they just can't stop talking, and then the story comes out and they go, fuck, now I have to fucking justify that somehow or another? Is there a medication that makes you just ramble like that?
She said it was a lie.
She said, my regret is that I mentioned Al by name. It should have been a nameless, faceless anecdote, and he has always been lovely to me. She said, this is also hardly an example of the wage gap and can only do that very true reality a terrible disservice if I were trying to make it one. When I was interviewed by Levo, they asked me, do you remember a time when you were paid less for the same job? And this
Boom.
story,
Okay, yeah.
being just that, popped into my head.
Yeah, that's what I
But wait a
said.
minute,
So they
how
took
does
it out
it-
of context and just fucking changed it to make it seem like
Right,
she
it
was saying it's a male-woman thing.
was
But
a
it wasn't.
Todd
She
Barry
was
story.
talking about, but she was talking about a male-woman thing. Do you remember a time where you're paid less for the same job because you're a woman? Is implied in that.
Yeah,
Because
but
we're
that-
talking
but
about
it-
the wage gap. So that is what she was saying.
But I could see them going, do you remember a time you were paid less for the same job than someone else? And she goes, okay, how about this? And they put it in a story about the wage gap.
Yeah, but I think they were talking about the wage gap. Like that's what they were talking about when they were didn't.
Right, like what would be the purpose of her being interviewed if not
Yeah.
about the wage gap?
Right.
I mean, that's what that was the subject. But here's the thing: the story popped into her head. Like, what does that mean? If it's a made-up story,
Yeah, what's the lying part?
yeah.
Because that's what she said in the beginning, that it was a lie.
What the fuck, man? Imagine being that guy. And you have to hear that. Like,
Al
someone
Martin,
just-
I heard he was real upset and he had to take out get a publicist. I'm like, I didn't fucking not pay women. Don't say that.
He posted something about it.
All the comics are like saying like they're taking his side. They're like talking like, yeah, I'm a dirtbag, but not that kind of dirtbag. I just abuse comedians in general.
Who is that guy?
He books Broadway Comedy Club. I've never worked there. I don't know. I don't really know. I've never met him.
So, I wonder if it was a lie or if she just said it's a lie just to shut him up.
Yeah, just to
calm
be
it
like,
down.
I don't want to take any responsibility for any of it. Fine, the whole thing was a lie. Just leave me alone.
Right.
And the problem is when you say something's a lie and it's that like, whoa, you lied about that?
Right. It calls everything into question.
Do you lie, like, is this like a normal thing you do? Does it like pop into your head every now and then, a different story than the truth, and you just start saying it? You don't even know why?
Because that's a weird, unnecessary
Yeah, what do you mean
lie
it was a lie?
that names names of people who people know.
Todd Barry in particular.
Right, everybody knows who Todd Barry is.
Have you ever heard about a chick getting paid less to do a set at a club, though? I've never heard that anywhere. Unless it's like, there's the difference between some headliners, like one headliner who makes a lot more money because they sell out every weekend.
Yeah, but as features, let's get paid $100 a set. Generally, that's a deal. $100 a set for features on the road.
If the club employs you.
Yeah, but if the club employs, yeah, exactly. But that's the standard. But that's not. There's no difference. Nobody pays paid less or more than for that. It's everyone gets 100.
Yeah, you might just find someone who really doesn't deserve the spot, and the club owner gives you a shot and says, "I'll give you $75 a set." But that's status. It's
Just
not
if you
like,
make feature, you get 100. That's just the deal. That's just the deal.
But not in all places. But I mean, they reserve the right to pay you less if, like, maybe this is your first time featuring or something like that. Like some clubs will do it. What's he doing? What are you doing? You got
hold on, I got one more plan.
one more plan. All right.
my God.
Ari's going to get arrested.
Yeah, he's going to go down and not come back.
This is not working at all.
No, I don't
No.
see it. I don't see it happening.
The fuck? He's trying.
Yeah, he is.
I just thought this Sarah Silverman thing really perplexes me.
Yeah, I
Because-
wish you would get more into detail about what was the
of it
lying
a lie?
part.
Well, what did she say as far as like a statement? Like when it says Silverman lied or admitted she lied? Like, what are they saying?
Because it's one thing if she says, oh, I remembered it incorrectly, or, oh, in hindsight, I guess I was getting $10 because I was new, or whatever it is, but not just to lie.
What's going on?
Lie. I would like to see what she said. The problem is it's all just news stories. You don't really know what the fucking story is.
Right.
Well, admits lie.
If you say that you lied about that,
I don't know what they really asked her.
That's such a non-issue. It really calls into question.
Yeah,
like, what would happen if there was like a serious issue?
That's like a pathological
lying
liar
to win
thing
your win your point or win your an argument for your cause is like
to just make up a story.
Yeah, but you haven't won your. It's false pretense.
But the way she said that story just popped into my head. Like,
all I can say is I remember that story exactly how I said it. I know that Tad called the club earlier in the day to let them know I was in town to see if they wanted me to do a set. They put me up for a 15-minute spot just after Todd's 15-minute spot. I didn't expect to get paid. That's not why I was there. But when I got off stage, Al, the sweet club owner, paid me $10, and I signed the payment sheet. I was like, oh, nice. I inferred from that this was also a paid spot, not a guest spot. Either way, I should have been fine.
I would have been
fine. Then when Todd pointed out that he received $60 for the same spot, I went back in and asked Al why Todd got $60 and I got 10. That's when he certainly could have said, because it was a guest spot, Sarah. I was just being super nice and I gave you $10 for cab money. But instead, and I will always remember this exactly how he said it because it was unbelievably hilarious. He said, oh, did you want a $60 spot?
Well, that would mean, if he's saying that, in my interpretation, that, oh, did you want a scheduled spot? Because there's a difference between a guest spot and a scheduled spot. I mean, that's just a fact of clubs. And some clubs put on guest spots, and like, say if you pop in at the Comedy Store, like if you do a regular spot, what do you get there for the OR?
$15 for the OR.
$15.
Jesus Christ.
It's hilarious, isn't it? Does it hurt your feelings? When you say it, it hurts your feelings. That's why I never cashed my checks. I was like, I'm not even cashing that. Fuck you. But
so like when you say
hold on to them.
Like $15 is...
Well, here's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If Ari shows up and he says, hey, guys, I'd like to do a guest set, he doesn't get that $15. He doesn't get paid because he's not on the list. He's not. Right. He's not like scheduled to perform. He's doing a pop-in. And if you're doing a pop-in, you don't get paid. So it seems like that's what Todd Barry did. He called up.
Yeah,
like
what she said. It was a guest spot, and he was like, give her $10. And if he had said... But it's like, but he didn't say it. So you can't analyze the whole situation because he didn't say it exactly. He didn't explain it to you exactly right.
Yeah, it's very disingenuous because knowing the club scene and knowing like how sets are paid out, that's just the way it is. You don't usually get paid for a guest set. So what she got was cab fare. Someone was being nice. That's all it was.
That's all it was.
And it got turned into this gender inequality gap issue.
This guy went from being a nice dude and doing the right thing to being a misogynist.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? The gender inequality thing is a very, very interesting thing. You know, I have that bit about the guy who broke into the White House. And part of it has to do with the female security guard that was redacted from the Washington Post. The Washington Post printed out that the guy who overpowered the female security guard at the front door of the White House, and then it became a big issue with feminists. They wanted him to take out, or they wanted the person who wrote the article to take out the word woman security guard, like it's because it's not relevant. Well, of course it's relevant. Mm-hmm. You've got a woman as a guard. That's a controversial position. Just like a woman as a wide receiver would be a controversial position.
Yeah, if she keeps dropping passes, you'd be like, can we bring up gender here? She's the only one.
Every time she gets
in
tackled,
her hands.
She breaks both her ankles. she plays one game a year.
It's the first opening day of the NFL. It was so historic. As this woman... no, the first play of the game. She's out for the year.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. It's a gender inequality issue, Ari Shaffir. You don't understand.
Gender inequality.
Yeah.
Well, thank God Sarah Silverman wasn't black, or it would have even been worse than for Al Martin.
Crazy. Yeah. That's such a weird example.
So she wasn't lying.
No, she definitely shouldn't say.
So wait, she
those
wasn't
articles
lying then.
That say, she said she admits she lied. That's not true at all.
She admits she was wrong.
Right, I was
Being
wrong.
wrong and lying are
she's not
real
even
different.
saying she admits she's wrong. She's saying she's telling the story exactly how she remembers it. So I don't think it's a lie at all.
She might be saying, though, this is probably not an issue of gender.
Well, is she? Because she said she was laughing at his statement, oh, did you want a $60 spot? That's disingenuous, too, because we know the difference. you know what's going on.
Like a person who's not in comedy would find that statement funny, but comedians, you're saying, understand exactly what he was saying.
Exactly. Anyone who works in comedy clubs knows exactly what the difference is.
Also, if Todd was on last, that means she was eating checks. She was doing the check spot, which is, they don't have that in LA, which is, they drop the checks, but and I used to be at stand up in New York, they would have like a break while they drop the checks, everyone paid, go to the bathroom, and then Big J or whoever would go on last. And then now they're like, well, if some young guy wants to eat the checks, while everybody's paying their bills, right, to actually go do stand-up. It's like, fuck, go do it.
There's always spots that pay more or less. I mean, I've middled for friends before, and when I was headlining, someone would say, hey man, you want to call? I middled for Brian Callen in Washington, D.C. like 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah. He was, you want to work with me? Because I was in town doing that Joe Rogan Questions Everything thing. So it just happened to be there, so I featured. It's like, it's fun. Yeah, guess what? You get paid less when you do that.
Right.
You got paid more than me.
Right.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
gender inequality. Oh, they're both men. Okay, forget it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's issues with sexism for sure, but
there are. But at the same time, you can't push everything into that hole.
It discredits the real stuff when you start bringing up fake shit.
Well, let's talk about the real stuff, because I didn't know that. I never looked into it that much, so I didn't know that it's an overall.
The 700 cents on a dollar is one of the most misquoted parts of the argument. That's not. It's just like you're putting Bill Gates and teachers in a fucking pool and say, how much do men make? How much do women make?
Well, more men are CEOs. More men are
top level athletes.
More men are also more like hyper ambitious and career driven. It's not to negate that some women are.
And it's like men golfers, female golfers. Like, well, male golfers make more because they actually have more people watching male golf on TV.
Same with every sport, really. So, basketball, whatever it is.
And same as radio. If you or TV, if your thing gets more ratings, you get more money.
Right.
You get renewed for a higher contract. It doesn't matter how
makes more than anybody.
Sure. So she helps skew it more even.
Yeah, I mean, she makes more than any talk show host.
Well, yeah, by
ever.
A lot.
Yeah, and she's a chick.
Okay, here it is. In 2013, among full-time year-round workers, women were paid 78% of what men were paid. But that is among full-time year-round workers. That is not people in the same jobs or people in the same careers. That's just full-time workers.
So that's taking into account all the secretaries that work in the same as engineers. They work in the same office.
Social workers, teachers. It's taking all that. And so garbage man.
That's very deceptive.
Super deceptive. But that's this lie.
But we'll look into it and in specific jobs. Like, look into a gender inequality gap in specific occupations. So you could see, taxi cab drivers or surgeons or, whatever.
That would be a major issue. If you're like, what do you mean? Why do I get paid less for doing the same job? It's like, well, you're not.
Who is performing down there? Defend Freedom Tour.
Oh, I was watching.
What is that?
This morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning, some country chick was singing down there at Fox News, right across the street from us, with giant Defend Freedom banners.
Really?
What does that mean?
6 o'clock, and they're already like cooking barbecue. You can smell it.
They're trying to make
Defend
New York
freedom.
City the South. They're trying to make it down home. They're trying to make it country. Look at all these people with flags. Could you imagine any other genre of music where people would be waving American flags in the audience? That goes to show you how dopey some of that stuff is.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck, back again.
But just stop and think about that. Well, what if you went to see the Wu-Tang Clan and everybody was waving flags in the audience? You'd be like, what?
Might wave Wu-Tang flags.
Yeah, maybe. But the American flag, there's one genre of music you can imagine that with, and it's country.
Although there's Caribbean music where people will come and like wave Jamaican flags in the air and stuff.
Yeah, but that's another country, dude. In this country, like genres of music.
Yeah.
There's one.
It's just it's just country. So is that our cultural thing?
That's our jihad music.
Yeah, that's
our jihadist music. Our radical fundamentalist music.
That's our jihad. It's our la 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 la.
Right. Trace Atkins.
You're right.
I got my guns, you try to get them, I'm gonna shoot you full of lead.
waving the flag.
It's just a style of country music too. I mean, there's like outlaw country. There's Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash and all that kind of stuff. That's not rah rah at all.
Yeah, nobody's waving flags at it.
Waylon Jennings. It's a different kind of. It's a different. Like there's this patronizing sort of country music.
Yeah, I mean, Toby Keith and Johnny Cash don't even feel like they're singing the same genre of music.
They're way different time periods too, though.
Yeah, Toby Keith gets a hard rap. I like some of his songs.
You do? What Toby Keith songs do you like?
They're dumb as shit, but I enjoy them.
I got friends that
should have been a cowboy. That's not him, man. That's Garth.
Garth's the man.
What you just said was very racist.
Ignorant.
Personal financial advisors, wage gap, physicians and surgeons.
You love Toby Keith.
Should have learned to rope and ride.
Securities, commodities, and financial service sales agents, wage gap 65%. Wow.
What's the difference? The wage gap.
This says it's a lot bigger.
What did it say?
It breaks it down by what is.
First of all, make sure this ain't a fucking
Fortune.com.
website written by chicks.
Yeah, I looked at that. I looked up at the thing. Yeah, it's Women Victim Monthly.
Dicks.com.
Securities, commodities, and financial service sales agents. Women's median weekly earnings 883. Men's median weekly earnings 1356.
Yeah, which broad did that math?
This is securities people, so that means stock people. Now, is that based on performance?
Yeah, I wonder if it's the same level too, or if it's just anyone in there. But it says physicians. Go down to physicians and surgeons. Women's median weekly earnings 1246. Men's weekly median earnings 2002. Does that take into account the top level, like brain surgeons and physicians together? I don't know.
What about men?
Wait, women's negotiating skills to employers, tenants. I don't know. Forget this.
He gives up.
Let's go back to Toby Keith.
Should have been a cowboy. Yeah, it's a mess, Ari. We just quoted a bunch of shit that we're not supposed to. This is the song.
This is Toby Keith?
Yeah, I can sing along with this.
You like this song?
It's not a bad song.
This is your shit.
Miss Kitty, have you ever thought of running away? Ari is still on Operation Get Anthony Cumia into the building.
Oh, my God.
He's been going at it he keeps getting up from the thing and running. It's 8:06 now. We've been here for over an hour. Anthony's been downstairs for an hour and 6 minutes trying to get inside.
Ari truly is a host-producer today.
Yeah. Well, these petty bitches at security, just let him through. You know, you let him through for 20 fucking years. Let him through one more day.
I sometimes feel like those security guards, they all should have been cowboys.
They should have learned to whip and ride. I don't understand why you guys have to do this early in the morning. Can't you just do it in the afternoon and play it in the morning for all these people that have to get up? It just doesn't seem like you should have to get up, too.
No, it doesn't, but if we're timely and topical.
Oh, it's got to be
the people their,
breaking.
Yeah, their news at the beginning of the day.
Ari's back with news.
Sending the intern now.
The intern.
And what is the new strategy?
Okay, the new strategy is he's got my past.
You know our intern's nickname is Hot Dog? That's the guy you're sending downstairs.
Really?
Hot
Dog?
He's a fucking idiot.
That's okay.
Let's not jinx our project.
You're right.
And let's not cockblock it by telling exactly what we're going to do. What about the people that would like to not see this plan come to fruition?
Oh, yeah. The jihadists.
They're listening right
feminists.
now. Feminists. Is it feminists? Who's angry at him? Like, it's mostly social justice warriors and black folk. They seem to
Those
be
are two major groups.
Yeah. Anthony. And it didn't help that he went on that white supremacist radio show
at all.
And then he said something he didn't know. It was a white supremacist radio. Okay,
that would be the one question. That should be question number one.
How do you guys feel about the KKK?
They're great. Oh shit!
We got him.
Yeah. Well, he was on a press tour. He didn't realize every show he was doing.
I love
that's true. How is that going for him? That radio, that subscription deal that he's doing?
I think it's going really well. I mean, he's kept it going and everything, and he's got listeners.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
I don't know what his numbers are.
Because
viewers,
you subscribe and you pay. People are just super reluctant to pay these days. It's very difficult to get them to pay.
But the one thing where I think that benefited him was people were used to paying to hear him.
That's right.
So people have been paying for this show for like 10 years now. So it's like, yeah, we're used to paying if we hear Anthony. Whereas everybody who started doing it for free, it's not like you can one day say, okay, now you have to start paying, because everybody will go, what the fuck?
Right. Well, I think a lot of people also, like fans of the show, felt like it was an expression of solidarity.
Yeah.
Stand with Ant.
Yeah.
There was hashtag.
But you're right. They were used to paying for it because they pay for Sirius.
Pay for Sirius. So it's like, I just do this.
Hashtag stand with Ant. That was a big hashtag that was going on.
Did you see the South Park hashtag stuff?
No.
It's all about getting your hashtag trending. It doesn't really matter. You haven't won anything for your cause. But like, we did it, everybody. Free the Johnson 5 is trending. And it's like, but they're still in jail.
Right.
The Johnson 5 are still in jail. You haven't done anything. We did it. We're trending.
We created awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we can't.
Awareness doesn't do shit. All these people, when they're like, we just got to get the word out. Even the anonymous people. The Occupy people say, we gotta get the word out. It doesn't do anything.
You know how much awareness?
Then the word gets out. Oh, we're all being robbed and cheated. And then what? They still don't do it.
Well, don't you think that it's good that information gets out on certain things where it gets exposed and then people start discussing it? And then when votes come up, there's this awareness about a certain subject.
Sort of, but then they'll just like change it and put it through anyway. Just like
Someone sounds very, very pessimistic.
Yeah.
It's just like the drones and the fucking being able to like what Obama signed, where you can just lock anybody up without trying them now.
Yeah. And,
at first they like didn't get that passed, and then he's like, "We'll wait," and then he just wrote it under a new bill and just passed it.
Yeah.
It just delays them.
Being able to lock people up without any due process is very scary. Because that's
very
what
scary.
we're terrified of. It's not about whether or not someone's a criminal. It's about you don't even have to prove they're a criminal.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, that goes back to like the bloodlines and everything. It's weird when you start seeing stuff that kind of resembles like England in the 1700s, and you're like, wait, isn't this kind of what the American Revolution was about?
Yeah. Well, that's what happens as things go on. It starts to escalate. No matter what you do, things escalate.
Right.
Whether it's no matter what, things always try to grow, and ideas try to grow too. And when you have an idea that's goofy like that, like the idea of controlling people, you try to figure out what's the best way to control. I got to control them more. I got to control. Well, all these lawyers get in the way. All those laws get in the way. Well, let's just fucking kill the law. Let's kill the law.
Yeah.
We're not gonna put anybody. You got to trust that America is going to put people in jail only if they're bad. Okay, and then
well, the government will take care of it. They're always on the right side, so I'm sure nobody will.
Yeah,
try to fuck over there.
We'll defend freedom.
Ex-boyfriend.
Well, that's the number one issue with all this NSA spying shit too. You can't just spy on everybody, because if you spy on everybody, who the fuck is to say whether or not anyone has access to that information? Who's to say whether or not that's going to be used to bribe people or blackmail
or get out,
people?
or there'll be a hack, and it's like, whoa, all this stuff about me. Like,
everything you've ever done
wearing
is now
diapers
out.
and spanking myself in order to get a boner. That's all out now?
It's all out now.
Well, but
for freedom.
If you have nothing to hide, what's
it's
the
all
problem?
about freedom.
And you know how
I got
easy
a lot of shit to hide. It's not illegal.
If everything's out there, you know how easy it is to start pulling stuff out of context?
Oh, of course.
Like you just start scanning through documents. You can find whatever you want. You can tell whatever story you want about a person.
It's just also, why should any one person be able to do that unless they can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're involved in some sort of shady, illegal, dangerous activity that could possibly hurt other people? And if you can't prove that, well, you need to figure out how to prove it legally. Like, that's like, I'm sorry if your job is harder. Like, it's like your job is too hard, so you just want to spy on everyone and look for keywords.
Yeah,
and
but they're like, well, we're not going to let the terrorists
shit.
get off. And you're like, okay, no one's saying we should do that. But just do your job.
They need to get better stock footage of the terrorist training camps that they do. Every time one of these guys, suspected plot to kill U.S. soldiers, indictment, :
But it's like the training they do is like those old 1940s old man training stuff where they go like this
soldiers
with the guns up and down and do little leaps. It's like, that's not real training.
It's like look at these productions, these like highlight reels. This is like a fighter highlight reel where you're trying to sell a UFC bout. Like, you're showing all the training.
Yeah.
You guys running with machine guns in his hands. You're showing people shooting. And it's like,
just flipping a tire.
Clip change. Guys with fucking ski masks on and guns. Clip change. Different people. But it's like they're changing one clip after another. They're smash cutting. And again, same footage. Guys with guns. Waving the guns in the air. Driving down the street in tanks. This could be in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like what they're showing, like,
no,
it's
it can't.
Totally unrelated to this one particular dude. They're just showing a bunch of jihad shit.
Yeah, or like you're showing another country's shitty army.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be scared of that.
It's like showing a guy who plays a basketball game or something like that. And then you show a bunch of other people preparing for a basketball game. Like lifting weight, not even him. Like, say if you were doing a piece on Karl Malone or Michael Jordan, fill in the blank, and show him for his face, and then show a bunch of other people lifting weights, a bunch of other people running up hills and doing strength.
He's trying to get back into shape.
Wait a minute, what the fuck? That's not even him.
Yeah.
Like, why are you showing all those jihadi guys? They're in the tanks, the guns in the air. They're probably all dead. It's not this guy. Like, you have like a smash cut highlight reel. You're trying to get me excited about the fact that you caught this dude. Accusation wanted to kill Americans. And then they show babies with balloons and shit. And they show Disneyland, everybody smiling. And they show flags. And this fucking guy.
How do you guys concentrate in here with all these TVs going all the time?
That's why I'm talking about all these things behind us.
God, there's so many TVs.
We should take a break.
Let's take a phone call. Why don't we take a break? Everybody wants to take a break in this fucking pussy business.
We got commercials.
Oh my God,
I don't understand why they have commercials on Sirius when you also pay subscription.
Yeah,
well, I mean, that's because then you make more money.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, right. More money.
Remember when we first got it? It was like that was like the big sell.
No commercials,
right?
But it's also because like people, when we do this we don't want to talk for 4 hours straight every day.
You guys are bitches.
Play a song.
Seriously, this is the easiest job of all time. Do you guys know about weed and coffee? Just smoke weed, drink coffee, and start rambling.
Tincture, you can just drop it right in your coffee.
Yeah,
you
why is it so hard?
So you don't have to worry about it.
Everybody's like, oh, we got to take a break. Boy, all this talking's worn me the fuck out. Think about people are listening to this while they're sawing wood, carrying pressure-treated lumber up hills. They got splinters in their fucking fingers that'll never get out. And you're like, oh, it's so hard to talk.
We just like our sponsors so much. We want them to be a part of this thing,
Dude, they should get rid of all the sponsors. You should, the only way...
That's a terrible business move.
Just charge people $1 more.
Can I do one of the reads?
You can do a read today.
All right.
You can do it next break.
All right, so we have to take a break. How many breaks do you have to take?
We'll take 2 and then be out.
For all the hours we're here?
Because you're only here until 10. You're only here 3 hours.
I'll talk us back.
So this will be the first break.
So you take one an hour?
Yeah, and then we'll take a second one.
Okay.
We'll take another break at like...
Do you accept that, Ari?
9:15-ish.
I'm willing to accept talking about it later.
Seems sad.
Okay. We'll revisit this. Okay. We're going to retable this around 9 or 9:15.
Can we work the ads into casual conversation? Maybe people won't even know their ads.
Just do all of them as live reads.
It's like as we're talking, it's like, the people, it's feminism. The problem is they just need to go to sleep on a sleepy.
Go to IHateStevensinger.com. Buy her a ring. She's not really a feminist. She's a chick that doesn't have the ring. She's angry. She's angry.
So she didn't lie about it, though. She just said...
The headline saying that she admitted she lied is very misleading.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
That's the lie. That's the lie. It's not what Sarah Silverman said. What she said is not a lie. What is the actual headline?
Headlines just make you take a story the way they want you to take it.
Look at that. Admits she made up wage gap story. That's not what she said.
Then calls critics maniacs.
In the article, she said this is exactly how I remember the story. And it's the same story she told on the video.
Most people will not read the story. Most people will just read that headline.
And then they'll say, oh, man, you can't even trust her, dude. She lied about that whole wage gap thing.
Did you see that the ESPN girl that got suspended for a week?
What did she do? She yelled at people?
She got her car was towed.
Right.
And she was in there going like, you proud of yourself? You proud of yourself what you do? Because it's all about money. It's all you guys do is fucking take money from people. And she's just berating them. You know how it is.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's like, ma'am, you're on camera, just so you know. Like, and she's like, looks at it. She goes, oh, you think you're so fucking tough. She's like, what if I could work here if I didn't have my college degree and less teeth? You fuck. And just like demeaning her.
You know what?
What? Wait, at the very end, she goes, this is like a full minute long thing, like, and at the very end she goes, lose some weight, honey. And they called it a fat shaming tirade.
Well,
she had one small comment. It was all class shaming, and one small comment about weight, and they go, it was fat shaming.
Maybe we want to play
this. We certainly need this.
Maybe we should play it after the break.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's called setting up for the next.
We're teasing.
Teasing.
How long are you break?
Yeah, Stern.
How long are you
And I
break?
didn't even learn in Connecticut for 4 years.
You didn't go to Connecticut School of Broadcasting?
No.
That's amazing.
Look at Ari doing radio. How'd you make it to Sirius? You didn't do any small markets, dude.
How many minutes we have to wait?
8 minutes.
So lazy.
Let's take a dump on the desk.
We'll be back.
All right.
The Joe Rogan Experience Live. We'll be right back. Weird medicine.
Penile cancer.
Anal rectal cancer.
Feels like he has to shit, but there's nothing there. Red scrotum syndrome.
Does it ooze, pus, scab, bleed, or freak you out? Dr. Steve is here to help.
This week we'll discuss Dr. Scott's flaccid member, chest pain and obesity, nicotine addiction, and a guy who doesn't like anal sex. He loves it.
The first and still only uncensored medical show in the history of radio.
Tomorrow at 10 p.m. on the East, 7 p.m. on the West.
Fluid.
Anderson Cooper, C360.
Senator, I'm sorry for interrupting. Hey, welcome everyone to this Anderson Cooper special. We begin, though, tonight, as we always do, keeping them honest.
Anderson Cooper, host of AC3.